Hello again. I present to you Kiribaku Canon, the sequel. Originally I had no further need to make a sequel version, but I was shocked by the amount of discussion in the comments and thought I should not only elaborate and clarify a few things, but also make some points I missed out on. Firstly, we'll set some things straight. I already mentioned this in the first video, but I do not by any means think Kiribaku needs to be canon. This is Horikoshi's series, not ours. The point of both of these videos is simply to present information we know about their relationship as well as each party's potential thoughts. Next, I by no means think Kiribaku is superior to any other ship, and as I expressed in the video, I am quite open to all possibilities, i.e. I quite like bakugou both romantically and platonically, so I really have nothing against them or any other ship either. Finally, a few of you talked about gay representation in Japan, and how unlikely it would be for this to happen. Firstly, I don't need or want it to happen, like I said, but that's not my problem here. Whether it does or doesn't happen, just because Japan is not typically known for representation does not mean LGBTQ things in their media will never happen. Japan has nothing inherently against queer people, in fact most of them are completely neutral on it. I am not Japanese, so I can't cite my own experiences, but I have watched a few videos that represent what it's truly like. I'll just start with two because they are the easiest to watch and understand, if any of you are curious. The first being LGBT, Gay, in Japan by Rachel and John. The second, What Japanese Think of LGBT People, by that Japanese man Yuta. Both of these will be linked below. This is of course not negating the fact that both Kirishima and bakugou are main characters, so while Horikoshi has given us plenty of LGBT representation in the past, this will be much different and harder for him to execute. Regardless, I will support his decision. Now that that's out of the way, let's move on to the real stuff. The most common response to this was in reference to Mina. I regret not mentioning her in the first video because she is a huge part of this. I simply did not anticipate this much response. Long story short, if we're talking practically, yes, Kirishima and Mina are likely to be paired. If when bakugou and Kirishima do not end up matched together, Mina will surely be Kirishima's match. That being said, I do not believe Mina is the main option for Kirishima. This is not because of Kirishima himself, but because of bakugou. I'm yet again bringing up the fact bakugou has absolutely no match. This is very odd. If you're lost as to why it's odd, please visit the first video. Kirishima and Mina by all means have chemistry, and their friendship is very important. But in my eyes, befriending the least friendly person in all of school, saving him from being kidnapped, and being given respect from that person, who gives out no respect to anyone, is a lot more valuable than I looked up to you in middle school. Kirishima formed himself from the ground up, with the help of Crimson Riot of course. Mina inspired him to become confident, but from there he completely left her behind. We know this because of how Mina reacted when she saw him, which was very shocked. Kirishima had never really interacted with her in middle school, to begin with, but from this we can tell he never interacted with her after that either. Even when he was going through a tough time improving himself, he never confided in her, and has yet to do so. Kirishima has already confided in bakugou and bakugou has confided in him. Of course this isn't a whoever gets there first type of situation, but I'm saying as of now, bakugou and Kirishima have more chemistry to work with. This is no disrespect to Kirimina as a ship. I think they have two very interesting dynamics, and it would be fun to see them interact more. Nextly, I would like to talk about something potentially controversial, as it's not anything canon. The gay coding of Kirishima in particular. Now, I have a whole Google Slides presentation saved on this made by Black Deku and Thetown Libomb with contributions from many others that go over these points more thoroughly, and this will be linked in my description as well. I will try to go over these quite efficiently though, otherwise this video would be 15 minutes long. Firstly, Kirishima has been joked to not be into girls in Banha Smash, a spin-off series done by Horikoshi's good friend, Hirofumi Neta. In fact, Kirishima being not into girls is an ongoing joke in Smash, so it's definitely nothing to write off. A few of you may try to mention that this is not canon, because it is not written by Horikoshi, and not part of the main series, but the characters are the same and written to be the same, just in less serious situations. As well as this, Horikoshi has to approve everything Hirofumi creates, so while it's not canon in the main story, it's not insignificant. Secondly, Kirishima has not shown a particular interest to girls even in the manga. Even boys like Takoyami have been shown to get embarrassed with the girls, but Kirishima doesn't seem to care. When met with a comment about his room not being boyfriend, like he shrugged it off. Meanwhile all of the other guys were quite invested and wanted them to say their room looked cool. Or something along those lines. There is a Tumblr post that goes into depth into this as well, that is linked in the slides, but I will link in my description for your convenience. Finally, the last one I'll mention for now, though there is more. Both Kirishima's name and bio are both very sus. One of Kirishima's likes is literally just tough guys. Now alright, maybe he just likes tough guys, like as in himself he likes to be tough himself, right? Wrong. For reference, Mineta's bio literally says he likes girls. If Kirishima didn't like guys, then why would guys be in the likes? For his name, you might be very confused if you know a little about Japanese. Kirishima Ageru is pretty straightforward, Shima is mountain, and the Kiri is written as cut. Traditionally Kirishima, as a last name, is usually translated to something like Fog Mountain, but his is written differently. Now, Ageru is a very traditional name, which is fitting for him, and the kanji separated translates to sharp cut, young men, which is super straightforward. The weird part is, that part of his name contains kanji translated into Kouha, which, in short, is a Japanese delinquent, who is into men. I have also linked a Wikipedia page about this if you care to read more, but I won't go into it myself. But if you do recall, Kirishima's original design was some type of delinquent character, so I don't think that this is completely by accident. I won't ramble about this anymore, but I highly encourage you to check out the Google slides I linked in the description, as it's super in-depth. To finish this off, I will briefly mention bakugou, since a lot of you mentioned you like it better and whatnot, which is cool, and I respect that, so it deserves its own spot. Bakugou is very interesting as a relationship, either friendship or otherwise. They have always had a lot of chemistry. Bakugou is close to my heart and I really value the progress they make and continue to make. I'd only like to bring up two things. 1. Plain and simple, it's unrealistic. As a ship, it'll unfortunately never happen. This isn't a bad thing, it just is what it is. Their relationship is irreplaceable and their progress with becoming healthier is a long and incredibly interesting process that I'm looking forward to greatly. But at the end of the day, Izuku will be romantically paired with Ochako, and we simply can't change that. Part of the reason I like Kiribaku is because there's a glimmer of hope. Even if it's 0.000000001%, I will stand by no matter the outcome and respect it. The potential exists, and that all that matters. Secondly, at the state of their relationship currently, romance isn't an option. This does not mean they will not get there eventually. This means they aren't there now. I used to despise bakugou, so I know how the other side operates, but I've began to look at bakugou for what it can be rather than what it is. Story writing and character development take a long time, and we've seen signs already that bakugou is willing to change their relationship for the better. Bakugou right now is constantly walking over hot boiling lava rocks rather than eggshells. It will absolutely without a doubt get better in the future. Horikoshi has shown us that much, but for now, they're hardly ready for a friendship, God forbid romance. Anyways, sorry this is extensively longer, I wanted to be thorough this time, so please tell me if I missed anything big and I will try to respond to you. This is always welcome for other opinions. I read all of the comments, so I try to include everyone's argument here. Thanks for sticking with me. So, in conclusion, Kiribaku canon.